I go back to my ends, I'm going to be a movie star. I told everyone on my Instagram, I'm going to be famous. Then it takes 18 months to come out. This film's not even real. There's billboards.
You get big girls.
I'm walking past posters of myself.
This man said, you will not trap me today.
We're in the house and the house gets raided by the ops, right?
I love that the ops raid the house.
Okay.
We had already made a film that was a comedy, that had a really serious message. Nobody really supported
But
it.
here's the thing, people treat you where they meet you.
I'm so passionate about it. So when somebody says something about it, I have to hold it in because they don't understand what we went through to actually get that film made to screen.
I can only imagine.
You underestimate how privileged you have been not to live that life.
There's layers to it, but you've not deeped the layers.
I deeped it. I did.
For you to take maybe 6 to 7 months out of your life to make a film, to just have Zeze Millz just come and just drop her one word opinion on it.
Nah, Nicky, tell the truth, you didn't like me back then.
No, I had no reason not to like
No,
you.
I feel like you already knew what I thought about Intent.
Maybe at that time I probably felt like you was coming for us, and I probably felt like, why is she coming for us?
My thing was
Why
always,
are you not talking about this?
is Intent 3 happening?
This is the +44 podcast. I'm Zeze Millz.
Yeah, what's that about?
What was that all
And I'm
about?
Sideman. Music
Culture.
UK. This is +44
From Wondery. Make some noise for Femi Oyeniran and Nicky Walker.
Come on.
All right, now if you guys could introduce yourselves, because for instance, Nicky, you've got like a name other than Nicky, so if you could introduce what you guys call yourselves on a day-to-day basis.
I'm Nicky Slimting Walker.
There you go, Nicky.
But why you listen, technically, I don't think we should call you Slim Ting anymore because I know you're in the gym trying to get hench these days. You know what I'm saying, Nicky? So I feel like we should call you Nicky Hench Ting or something
I'm
like
not
that.
there yet.
Yeah, that's a bit
Ting
wild.
To be
Nicky working on it.
No, to be C.
TBC.
Hench Ting TBC to be confirmed.
I'm gonna get rid of the ting still.
Why?
It's Nicky Hench.
Nicky Hench.
Yeah.
Nicky Hench,
I
yeah.
respect that.
Me and Nicky have the same
Trainer.
trainer.
This how they
Remember-
roll.
Oh,
Big
really?
up
Yeah,
Mark.
you
Rich hand switch.
You know the trainer that I fancy? Yeah, that
We're
one.
on camera, Deezy, so I didn't think we was
Oh
going to
no,
do all
he
that.
knows that already. Everyone knows that.
All right. So how did you guys actually meet?
You want to tell the story?
It's not that complicated. We met through a mutual friend. So one of my friends was like, I met this guy. He was like, oh my gosh, like you're an actor, you're in kidulthood. I was like, yeah, but I want to MC. I'm an MC. I want to be an MC. He was like, really? He was
As in
like,
a rapper?
yes.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to be a rapper.
Okay.
This is when I first, I was like, I want to be a rapper. I want to be an MC. I wanted to be an MC. And then he's gone to me, oh, really? I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, I know this guy. Let me take you to the studio. I've gone to the studio. Nicky's come with the like gas. He was in this. There was a place called Jetstar, like proper old school people know. It was this place, Jetstar in Housden. And like Nicky was there in this big studio. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're Nicky Slimting. Like, because I'd grown up like watching, like on listening to pirate radio, watching Nicky's music videos. I'm like, I couldn't believe that this guy took me to go to introduce me to like Nicky Slimting from East Connection. This is mad. I was like properly shocked. And Nicky was looking at me like I was mad. He's like, yeah, but you're in kidulthood. And I'm like, no, but I don't think you understand. Like, you know, like you're like, I grew up on like listening to your sets on radio. And so from there, Nicky was like, obviously I was trying to be an MC. Nicky didn't care about that. Like he didn't even let me spit. You know, like they said, oh, you rap. Oh, you go in the studio, they're like, yeah, rap then. Like he didn't even let me spit. He didn't even care about that. He was like, oh, do you know what? I want to make a film. Like, and I was like, really? And but cut a long story short, we were trying to make a film together. We lost touch. And then I was on a set of Another Hood. And then I was like, I remember a treatment that Nicky had given me, and I was like, you know what, I really want to make that film. And that was our film, It's a Lot. And because I found Nicky on Facebook, imagine you know, like they used to suggest friends.
Yeah.
So then they suggested.
Do you remember the film that you guys were doing that it didn't go to fruition? Because you said
so like Nicky had this idea to make a film called Money.
Money and Grind. Or was it Money?
It wasn't called
It was
Money.
just called
and Grind.
Money.
It was called Money at the time. And I remember like he had a script for this film Money, and he had a treatment for It's a Lot, which is our first film that we made together. And I'd done lots of like, I'd done kidulthood. I think I'd done adulthood by then. And I'd done like lots of like little street things in between. I was like, I don't want to make money because it's like another street film. I don't want to be typecast. And like, you're young in your career and you worry. Like, I think at that point, I was just overthinking everything. And I don't like, let's do It's a Lot because it's different. It's completely different. And Nicky was like, no, I want to make money. Like, and I was like, right. And it turned, really, we kind of just
made money with
we just didn't talk. No, we just didn't talk. We stopped talking because you
wanted
to, because we weren't really friends anyway. We met in the studio, he was like, this guy doesn't want to do what I want to do. Like, I'm like, I don't want to do what he wants me to do. And we kind of stopped talking. And then like, literally, I was on this set and I was thinking, oh, I wonder what happened to my man. And then I saw him on Facebook, suggested friends. And then it was like, oh, I clicked. I remember messaging him, oh, do you know what? I've got an idea. Send me your number. I think I know how we can get this film made. It's a lot at the time. And we got it made.
It's a lot. When did that come out?
2014.
So I would say at that time, there wasn't really, it was still like a nice bubbling, I would say, within the independent space. I still feel like we've got far to go. But I would say you guys were, I would say, one of the first to kind of really do the kind of independent, those type of films. How difficult was it, and has it got any more easier getting funding?
I think it's changed. I feel like actually a lot of the stuff has been socked up by streaming. So like, and also digital platforms have meant like young people are not trying to get deals. People just make their content and put it on YouTube, find an audience. And so which I think more power to people. I think that's the most important thing. I think the main thing is actually, as you grow older, you become an adult and you want to monetize that and you want to make money and all of that stuff. Then it becomes a bit frustrating because you got your art form, but you're not really making money for it. You know, I can go into it, like people understand it. But the point is, ultimately, the industry is not necessarily easier, but the longer you do it, the more people respect you, the more opportunities come your way.
Right, okay.
And back then, films, like, it cost a lot of money because of technology's moved a lot further on now, so there's more access to cameras, there's more access to things, but you needed a certain amount of money to make a film back then, so you had to go through the traditional ways of making a film. Because before Kid, there was like Kidulthood, there was Rolling with the Nines, there was a few films, Bullet Boy,
film. I love
Bullet Boy is
so
that's
good.
amazing
So
film.
Yeah.
So like there was films that like were made, but they were like big budget films. But there's like one black film every like 3 to 4 years. So after like Femi had made Kidulthood and we went on to make It's a Lot, there still wasn't a lot of those kind of
even
films.
till today, till
there's
this
still
day.
not
There's still not a lot,
There's still not a lot.
Till this day, I just feel like for me, like the main thing, I don't think there's an independent British film market anymore because everything's been socked up by streaming platforms, like, you know.
But it could be movies on streaming platforms, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's more short form.
Yeah,
content.
I feel like it's changed. I just feel, but change is good. Like, change is good because then people are forced to think of new ways to monetize, new ways to do stuff. And I'm all for change. I'm all for evolution. I feel like what we've been able to do is incredible. We've evolved into making TV programs. We're trying to do stuff in the States. So like, you evolve, you know, and you don't want to remain in the same space. But for me, I think it's very important to make films about sort of Black, British and working class people, because not that many people are doing it. And I feel like no matter where I go, I will carry on doing that.
Femi was one of the first people that I had on the Zeze Millz show. He's like one of my first guests.
Oh, really?
And that was one of the first times I went viral for basically chatting to someone wayward, because everyone was saying that I was talking to Femi like he was like, it was like, why are you getting on to him so much?
Yeah,
but basically, shut up, David. my gripe was to do with the intent, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Intent and what I felt about the intent and the storyline of intent.
But I really wanted to do that interview. I thought it was really important because like I saw what you were doing online and I was like, I remember like the publicist was like, oh, do you want to go on Zeze's? Because it was my idea. I was like,
I wonder how many times publicists say that to
all
people.
at the time.
You sure you want to go over
She's
there?
like, are you sure you want to go on Zeze? I was like, of course I do. Like, she's my people. I want to support her thing because I just feel like actually it's important to have these conversations about like content, and I want critique. I want people to engage with the content in whatever way they want. Like, do you know what I mean? And like, ultimately, I can't be defined by one project. Like, you know, I've got I've done in my 18-year career, going on 19 years, like I've done a body of work that, you know, at the end of the day, we can measure it and see whether it's shifted the culture or moved Black British people forward or not. And so, in a way, at that time, I didn't really care. I was like, yeah, let me go and like let this girl come.
Nikki
Was it one of them things?
Nikki literally didn't turn up for no reason.
Nikki just decided he wasn't coming.
You know what? He didn't even answer the phone to me.
Nikki didn't. That's when I used to think Nikki didn't like me.
Somebody was like, you want to know?
No. Do you know what Nikki done? Nikki said, "I'm going to get a trim." I never heard from him
Nikki
again.
again.
You know what it was? I can't even remember because it's a while ago, but
Nah, Nikki, tell the truth, you didn't like me back then.
no, I had no reason not to like
No,
you.
I feel like me and Nikki used to have this weird type of, I don't know.
Why?
You know what's
Because I
mad?
don't
You
see.
created it because you thought you didn't
come
come
because I
here.
didn't like you created
No,
it.
before that. It was
No,
before that.
I-
I think you already knew what I thought about intent.
Do you know what it is? Like, you're allowed to have your opinion about the intent, but for me, I feel like the intent was a very amazing film because I feel like it done so much for the culture. It done so much for me and Femi. It changed my life. You know what I'm saying? So for me, when people critique it, I get it. But we're new filmmakers. We're on our journey. Our first, our second film is never going to be our best film. So when somebody's critiquing it, you don't know kind of the pain, the sweat and tears, what's gone into making that film.
I understand.
So I'm so passionate about it. So when somebody says something about it, I feel like I have to hold it in because they don't understand what we went through to actually get that film made to screen.
I can only imagine. That's the one thing about
independently.
It's when you look at different art forms, the different mediums that people choose to express themselves in the media industry, some of it is rough. It's like the risk is high. The reward can also be high, but the risk is high. For you to take maybe 6 to 7 months out of your life, maybe up to a year, to make a film, to just have Zeze Millz just come and just drop her one word opinion on it. It's just like, yo, like respect.
You know what it is?
The effort.
To be fair with the Zeze thing, like she represents a block of people, right?
Yeah, that's a fact.
She represents a perspective, and so for me, I just feel like we should be able to have these conversations, and there's always space for it. And in a way, even though it was like sweat and blood and pain and all of that stuff, like I watch films and like you could ask him, I barely like anything. Like he'll be on the phone to me like, Femi, I just watched this, it's lit. But like, Slim,
that's dead.
Do you know what's wrong with this? This is wrong. Like all the time. Like literally, he probably hears from me what I think about everything the most. And like I literally critique. I don't like nothing. Like I don't like any and even I do it not just with like other people's stuff, with our things. I'm like, no, I'm not feeling that, you know. We could have done it like this and this. And by the end of it, he's looking at me like, shut up, man.
Why are you putting it out?
No, but you know what? It takes so much for people to make things. It's like, you know, I respect everybody's craft, you know. I feel like it's a journey. No one's just ever lit. If you go back to anybody and look at their first piece of work, it's never going to be their best piece of work. And I feel you need to give people time to grow. I get that people have got opinions, that's important, you know, that helps you grow. But I feel like maybe at that time I probably felt like you was coming for us, and I probably felt like why is she coming for us?
My thing was
Why
always.
are you not talking about this?
Forget this, man. Forget this, like. All right, these two need to clear the air, so let them sort it out.
Cleared it. David knows, everyone knows how I feel about the narrative, which we've always, and we had a discussion about it because also I think.
But there's deep messages in the intent. Femi's a Christian in the intent. Like he's split between the roads. He's faith. You know, there's lots going on. If you read, there's an undercover black police officer in the hood. He's black.
Listen,
Dylan Duffus is a black police officer. There's layers to it, but you've not deeped the layers.
I deeped it, and I said,
you know what it is? You know what? You know at the time. Do you know what it is about all this content, the intent, you know, all these things, right? It's like there's audience fatigue, right? And so what you get, there's an audience that is not being served, that feel like actually the only way you're whatever represented is in films like The Intent, is in stuff like that. But then now where you've got things like I May Destroy You, you've got so much more.
Yeah.
It's kind of easier for that type of content to find its audience. And like the audience like says something that represents someone like Zeze, it's probably not been made yet. And then once that's made, then it's like, actually, I don't have a problem with The Intent, but Zeze's problem with something like The Intent, it's like, no, There's no problem that getting made, but the problem is it's the only thing that ever.
Yeah,
gets
but that's
made.
not true. But that's not true because we made It's a Lot. Yeah, and It's a Lot's a comedy and it's bringing awareness with black
But it
people.
didn't have the visibility
Yeah, it
that
didn't have the
you
visibility,
intended.
and we was bringing awareness about people suffering with leukemia, you know, and partnering with the ACLT. And for us, we was really passionate about that, you know. So I feel like we had already made a film that was a comedy that had a really serious message. And when we made that film, nobody really supported
But
it.
here's the thing: people treat you where they meet you. If I meet you at intent, I'm gonna treat you like that.
You're intent forever.
You're intent forever, and that's what I want to ask you about, especially with kidulthood going back. It's like you start at kidulthood and your character becomes iconic.
Yeah.
How do you process that at that time, and how do you process it now?
Good question. So at the time, I'm at college. No, I did kidulthood when I was at college. When we made that film, there was no budget. I was catching bus, then train to get to set at like 5:30 in the morning because they didn't have cars. Like, you know, like this is like our little budget. There's like times me and Adam Deacon were catching bus home together or catching train home together. And so it wasn't like they had budgets. It was no one thought it was gonna be big. No one thought it was gonna bang. No one thought it was gonna do anything, right? And so we made this film. Like, it was a small film, and then it came out. It took ages to come out. That was the first thing. So then I remember I did this when I was like final year of A-levels. I've gone to uni, I'm studying my law degree, and then this film comes out, and then it just goes and goes and goes, and people love
You're
it.
at a different place mentally because you're not in college no
No,
more.
do you know what? I'm at a different place mentally, but at the same time, by the time it came out, it's weird. That film taught me a lot about life. In 2003, I auditioned for Kidulthood. We do a reading, they cast all of us. I go back to my ends. I'm like, I'm going to be a movie star. I told everyone on my estate, I'm going to be famous. 2004, I get a call. I don't hear from them again. I get a call in 2004 saying you have to re-audition for this film. I goes, what do you mean re-audition?
After you filmed?
We hadn't filmed it. 2000, they didn't have the money. They couldn't find the money. 2004, I had to re-audition for the film. I re-auditioned for the film, but some of the actors that had got the part before didn't get the part. Like, and so we had to re-audition. Every single one of us got the part. We're going to shoot this film. Then it takes 18 months to come out. So it's like, this film's not even real. And then you know,
and I said Inception.
Yeah, because I remember they did a screening, like, and I'll never forget this. I remember I went to this screening and I was scared because I didn't even know what I sounded like. I've never heard my voice recorded before, but like not like that. I didn't know. I couldn't really appreciate what my voice would come across like on screen. I didn't know what I would look like on screen. I was really, really scared the night before because this is the first time. And then they did this big screening at, it's called Cineworld now. It used to be called Empire Cinema. And like there was 800 people and everyone loved it. And I was like, oh, and I thought I was good in it as well. So I was like, phew. You know, because I was super worried. Yeah, I was super worried. And then I watched this film and then it still didn't come out. But when it came out, it really, really connected. And like the marketing campaign, the PR campaign was sick. Someone in the PR team realized that I was at uni at London School of Economics. So they just got me on all the news channels. I was like on Radio 4.
You know what's funny? I think things are bigger back then, you know. Because for something to go viral or be big back then, it has to actually be big. People have to actually talk about it. It actually has to travel. Whereas nowadays it's just
and because back
easier.
then, like we were saying, it wasn't oversaturated. Even though it's so mad because even though it still feels like there's not a lot of films, it feels like there is, if that makes sense.
Because there's a lot of content.
Right, So that's what I said, because you can, like you said, you can put stuff on YouTube. You can anything you want to do, you can do it yourself. So when I still remember like kidulthood, I remember like watching it.
Oh yeah.
I remember I remember having the fattest crush on Amel Amin. Like what? He was like
remember Amel?
I remember the first time I met, what's her name?
Which one? Red.
Yeah, I remember the first time I met Red, which was not even that long ago, maybe like 3 years ago. I met Red in real life. And I'm looking at this guy and I'm like, I know this human. When I clocked that it was her,
use gas.
The gas was different. It was. I can't explain what it was like to see her. Do you know what I mean? Is that I don't know what the words.
But they're like our first like superstars.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like kidulthood people are like our first proper
I
superstars.
think it's like people from ends that you could potentially bump into.
could meet.
But they
No,
was,
that's not how it felt for me because I'm from Birmingham.
I know, but for
Yeah, you
us
feel
in,
like
the,
that?
in London, it was just like, oh my God, like when you saw them, it's like, I just watched you. You're right. It was our first kind of like bubble of having our own scene and our own.
Because before that, there's only Ashley Waters. Like, you understand?
True,
they was the
true.
next bunch after him, innit?
And I think for me at that time it was a different. Like I was at uni, it was interesting because I was at this uni where no one cared. So I went to London School of Economics. It's all international students. No one's seen this film, so I'll go on campus. No one knows about the film. I'll walk to Holborn Station and there's like people literally stopping me to tape. There's billboards.
Did you get bare girls?
I'm walking past posters of myself.
So this man said, "You will not trap me today."
Did I get lots of girls?
You
yes.
have to. You must have.
Yes, I did get lots of girls. I got lots of access to lots of things at that time.
That must have been lit.
No, it was lit because you're 19.
Yeah, that's what I'm
You're
saying.
19.
Yeah,
You're going to parties. There's girls. There's
Yeah.
it was a good time because again, this is like pre-internet. Like this was like internet was about, but it wasn't like how it is. Everything wasn't online. You
Was
couldn't
Insta
film.
about? Was Insta?
No, Insta wasn't about. It was MySpace and it was Facebook
MySpace.
only for uni students, and it was
Oh God, Facebook only for you.
yeah. Imagine.
Wow.
You don't remember that?
Nah,
it was
that's
Most of
Facebook. I don't
you've been
remember.
around a long time.
No, it was Facebook just for uni. So it wasn't really like how it is now. It wasn't like the end all and be all. So like, you know, it was a good time. But as in like now, some people might know about your new stuff. Some people might not know.
It's like when we go abroad, everybody only knows
the intent.
The intent.
So like kidulthood's only a UK thing.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
Yeah,
like, you know, I'm in like Antigua a few years ago and I'm like literally getting recognized everywhere and it confused me. I had to call him. I was like, bro, like
It's mad. It's
why
mad.
has everyone here seen the intent?
In Jamaica, it's crazy.
Because it's on a platform.
Yeah,
that's
it's
not
on a
international.
platform.
And you've got quite a lot of international stars in the Intent, like Popcorn and all those people. That was
important for us.
Is Intent 3 happening?
100%.
100%.
So who are we having? Scorcher and Gets, or how does this work?
I want Scorcher.
Scorcher and
That
Gets.
would
We're having
be-
Scorcher
that
and
would
Gets.
be
Hey,
litty.
No, I
That
want
would be
Scorcher.
amazing.
and
We're having
Gets.
Scorcher and Gets, definitely.
That's the 100%.
If you need like any scenes
Do you want to
between.
be a baby mum?
Okay, so this is.
Seeing this type of film, yeah?
Okay,
Seeing
so-
this type of film, like, the female
You see her
characters
scene?
are
You want to be
really-
Jada? You want to be like Jada Pinkett in
Her
Venice?
scene needs to be as hood as possible.
What you said? Do you want a bus gun?
Okay,
Like, what do you want to do?
this is what I want. This is what I want to do because obviously what I stand for, right?
Yeah.
No one cares
I
about
want
what
to.
you
I want to be like.
What you can't? You don't want a bus gun?
Wait,
I want Zeze
wait.
Millz.
But why do you want to be in the
Busting
film
gun.
that you was dissing? though,
Wait,
before?
wait,
No, I
wait,
wanted to bust
wait,
gun. I'm
wait,
gonna
wait.
make you
Because this
shoot a
is what.
gun
Because I
in
said
intent.
I would be in it if I was playing a part that was pivotal to the storyline. So like. I don't know, like a baby mum that wants the dad to go on the straight and narrow. But one
That's
day,
boring.
wait for it.
I agree.
Then one day we're in the house and the house gets raided by the ops, right? So I
Not
have
the
to,
police, the ops.
ops.
Okay.
Then I have to get out.
It sounds like
Wait.
somebody white trying to cover
Wait,
up the
wait,
content.
wait,
the
wait.
ops?
This-
Wait.
Wait.
I'm not sold. I'm not sold.
The ops raid the house.
Okay.
Yeah. That's not police.
Okay.
Hey, you sound
So the
that's
ops
bad.
raid the house, but as they're raiding, I'm having like a passionate, intimate scene. I don't know, with like Gets his character. I don't know.
with his broad
Right,
back.
yeah, with his broad back. And so we're right in the middle of it, and then the ops bust in, and I know where the gun is.
So you
Right,
start
so
busting
I
guns.
get out the gun. I'm like, poo, 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 just
Poo,
going
poo, poo,
mad
poo, poo, poo.
at everyone in the
The
house.
only bit I want is I want to see Zeze Millz busting gun in a movie. I'm gonna make that happen.
So the only way I will bust a gun is if it's to protect me and my child
Let's
and
do
my
that. Let's make it
husband.
happen. Like,
That's the only way.
That'll be
There's
the
a
start of
spoiler.
That'll be the
Intent.
start of the film, like,
Yeah.
for no reason.
For no,
You're gonna have everyone ringing us, boy.
For no reason.
You're gonna have the
That's
whole
the start.
Fem's gonna have the whole world ringing us.
I'm gonna make Zeze bust gun. In
So intent that's why.
That will
Intent
make my
3 is
life.
happening though. It's definitely happening. We're gonna bring back Scorcher and Gets, and we're gonna definitely do that.
When did you gain this passion for producing, making films? How did it come about for you?
You know what?
Nicky?
I've always, like, for me, I was in music. I was a DJ. I was heavily involved in like the garage and grime scene. And I went to Silver Young Theatre School. My mum used to send me there at the weekends.
Okay.
I didn't go full time. I used to go on a Saturday. So every Saturday I had to go and do speech, drama,
Nice.
tap. You know the whole thing they make you do at Silver Young. And I used to go for a lot of auditions. Done a bit of acting as a child and stuff like that. And I've always had a passion for it. And then I'm a creative person, and like I love music, I love film. And then when I saw Kid at Hood, I saw Rolling with the Nines, I saw Bullet Boy and all those kind of films. And I said, like, this is something I want to get involved in. So when I met Femi, I was like, oh, this is Mooney. Because obviously when you meet him, he's just Mooney to you.
I love that
yeah,
for everyone.
And I'm like, listen,
Not
for me, I'm like,
love that for everyone.
I'm like, I want to make films. So like, I knew I had ideas. I'm always full of ideas, and I was pitching him ideas. And like he said earlier on, we lost contact, and then we got back involved with each other, and it was like, come on, let's make films. And from then we've just been on that journey of producing and directing and doing films. And we made It's a Lot, and it didn't really do as well as we wanted it to do. And then I was like, let's just make a street film. And he's like, why not? And then we made The Intent. And for me, making The Intent, my idea was to just sell it out of the boot of the car. It was going to be, this is DVD era. In my mind, it's like, you know what? We just sell it in all the barbershops. We go to all the raves. We go to all the colleges, and we just shot this DVD at £10.
Buying a DVD at a rave is crazy.
Like, do you understand? So I was going to be, because everyone's drunk in a rave. They're coming out. They've got peas. Like, so I'm going to sell DVDs to everybody. And he was like, why don't we put it in the cinema? I was like, cinema? In my head, I was thinking, how are we going to do that? But we figured out a way that, you know what, you can just rent cinema. Cinemas is like putting on a dance. Like, you sell tickets and people go and they watch your thing.
Like, we bought screens.
We bought the screens.
Oh, okay.
And what we did with The Intent, if I ever, like, it'll be boring if I broke it all down.
Yeah,
what we did, like, genuinely, one day I'm going to write a book about it, and I'm going to tell everyone what we did. It was mad. Like, we
you made
literally-
it seem like a theatrical.
Because I remember I met one of my friends, he's a filmmaker, who was like, who distributed The Intent?
We
I
did.
was like, we did. It was me, Nicky, and my cousin Olu. We
That was
did
it.
that film.
That was it.
Everything
I
you
was
saw-
at festivals, like, giving out flyers.
Nicky was handing out flyers. I said,
I remember.
I remember he said to me, we need to print some flyers. I was like, bro, that's old school, man. And then next thing, I'm getting pictures from my friends at festivals saying, oh, isn't this your film?
That's
Like, someone just
so
gave me a
sick.
flight.
And then what we was doing is flying everybody who came out of the cinema of watching other films. So if I said, like, Friday night, Saturday, cinemas, jam, what's on, look at the, like, see what the time is, get there at the end. People are coming out, like, saying, this is our film, this is our film. So when we released our film, like, we didn't even have a poster, like, in the cinema. But I remember the cinema, like, the film was sold out. Like, all the cinemas were sold out. The cinema couldn't understand how it was sold out.
Right.
Because they was thinking, like, but you've not even got a poster in there, but every screen was
And
sold
also,
out.
remember, we like bought an advert on. We did a mad thing.
Oh, that was crazy.
It was
That's
the most genius
this
thing. We bought. So Channel U wasn't big in London anymore, but it was still big outside of London. It was still on TV. So we had an ad. We basically
Had an advert playing
We had
every
an
hour.
advert playing every
Every
hour
hour.
from 2:30 p.m. to 2:30 a.m. every day, and we got a mad deal to do it.
Wow.
But no one, like, there was mad things that we did, but it was just literally just us and everything. So for me, when Zeze's critiquing it, I'm like,
Well,
the fact
now
that you
said
even
that,
know.
that's made me feel so bad.
No,
now.
no. I'm like, the fact that you even know about this thing, that me and my brethren
gas-
were the marketing
yeah.
team.
Oh, right.
Like, you don't even understand. Like, you know,
yeah.
the fact that the impact when, like, you know, I'm in the Caribbean and people recognize me. When I'm on the phone to Busta Rhymes and he's watched the film, I'm like, this is like, me and my
That's
brethren
so-
just had a
yeah.
conversation.
The relationships
Like-
that we've been able to leverage from people watching the intent,
yeah.
like, around the world has been crazy.
When did you guys realize that you made like good business partners? Because you don't only do films together, you have a share in the London Lions.
Yeah.
You guys I feel like you guys have just got your hands in everything. You do events, you're bringing Dame Dash over every chance you get. Dame Dash is like basically the third person of this trio.
Don't tell Jay-Z, please.
No, but when did you guys, because you know you can have friends and you can be good at doing some things together, but the fact that you guys work so well together and it seems to...
You know what? It's just been working. You know what? We have a mutual respect. You know, I feel like anybody you work with, you have to respect them. I have a respect for him. He has a respect for me.
That's debatable.
You know, and I think
Deep
we
down.
are
Love each other,
Deep
yeah.
down, we respect each other.
we have arguments. Like people think, we argue about things. We're passionate about something. Like, but the thing is it's just about listening to each other. I feel like we're like yin and yang. Like I bring a certain element to our business. Femi brings a certain element, and it just works.
Yeah.
And until it doesn't work, we'll continue working.
Right.
There'll be a stage, hopefully not for now, but there'll be a stage he wants to do certain things, I want to do certain things, but it doesn't mean that it's working. And for me, until if it's working, let's just continue going.
Arguments are fine once you take ego out of it. Like, we can argue all day, but if you're gonna get mad because we're arguing and then now you want to chat to man for days,
we don't do that. We don't do that. We'll have an argument.
That ain't gonna work as producers and filmmakers. You need to talk to people. You know, like when you're a rapper and you just gotta make your tune and you ain't gotta deal with nobody. But when you're doing some stuff like what you're doing, which is bringing everybody together from actors to producers to everything that makes it happen, you're gonna have to talk to people. You have to be personable. And
one person can just never do it. Like all the most successful people, they have a team. Like you just never see those teams. Like you see that one person, but there's loads of people working behind them. And I feel like that's how we kind of operate. And I feel like you mentioned the London Lions. For us, the London Lions was just a great opportunity that we just saw. And we're just thinking to ourselves, like, this is sick. Like, we were shooting content for them, and we shot an advert with them. We got Abracadabra to voice that the advert. And for us, it was just like, this is such a good moment. Like, we need everybody else to know about it. Because nobody really, you think of UK basketball.
Do you think we can have a scene like the US
in
basketball over here?
Definitely.
Second best.
Second, you think we can do it?
It will get there. It will get
we
there.
Can, because like, if you look at, because the thing is, like, this is why I love Zeze as well. She comes to all our things, right? So Zeze,
she's a proper supporter.
She's a proper supporter, because the thing is,
and she doesn't wait for it to get big either.
Yeah, compared to like when you first started coming to the last time you come to a basketball game,
it's grown.
Yeah, it has. No, honestly, it actually has. And do you know when it was a really good vibe? Obviously, at the Copper Box is really nice, but when it was at the O2, that was such a nice atmosphere. I was like, this is really good, really entertaining.
We're gonna do it this year. The halftime show is gonna be better. Like,
good.
It's just about, like, you know, just building on it. And like, for me, I just feel like there's a massive basketball audience, but right now that audience is an NBA audience. But actually, there's no problem with supporting the NBA and supporting it's funny. It's called the BBL. They need to change that. The British basketball. Like, but there's no problems with supporting both, because like football fans like Spanish league, they watch the French league, they watch the German league, but they still watch Premier League. So ultimately for us is that we want to be part of that conversation, and we want to build the brand till it becomes part of that conversation. And like the content team at the London Lions, that they churn out really great content, and there's like great like shoulder content. War like in the process of putting together a documentary, like a behind the scenes access all area documentary.
Is Ovi gonna be in it?
Is Ovi gonna be in it?
Yeah.
Is that what you care about?
That's all she needs.
Is that what we need?
Just Ovi's
Is that why you come?
I mean, I was the last time I came, guys, obviously I came to support you guys, but also I was quite disappointed that Ovi wasn't playing.
Yeah, he's injured. He's injured.
He should let me know. I would have rubbed him down so nice.
He's injured.
Right, so you guys have also I'm moving on swiftly. It's interesting that you talk about the fact that you used to be interested in music, because I've seen that you guys have done the evolution of black music. Yeah. And I just wondered, what was the motivation and the mindset in going into that?
I think the motivation, we love music. Obviously, I was a DJ. I used to put on parties and be a promoter, and was heavily involved in the music a decade ago, you know, and I just felt that, you know, everybody's talking about these music docs, but they're missing out things. And I just felt that it was important for us to just document like things that influenced me, like jungle music. You know, was a massive part of the culture that obviously people of a young age may not know about, you know, that kind of shift culture forward. And UK garage, you know, was really important, and funky house, and there's all these genres that we used to party to. And there's so much unsung heroes like Super D and you know, Deneo, and all these people that wherever you go to a christening or you go to a party, these records are the records you have to hear. But we don't really see them on the big screen. And me and Femi were just like, it's important for us to get involved and tell that story, you know. And there's loads of people missing from it who should be in it. You know, I know loads of people.
Was they hitting you up?
No, not even really hitting me up. You can't put everybody in it. And there's the station had certain rules of who we could put in it and who we couldn't put in it. I don't want to go into too much details about that, but I just think it's important that we all stick together and we continue telling these stories. There should be another one. Like we're saying, like there should be a next one that put the people that we missed out in it, because I feel like everybody plays a part in moving the culture forward, and we was passionate about it.
Yeah, I just feel like my main reason, like I love the show, I love what we put together. I think it was one of the most important pieces of work I've ever done, even like compared to like the intent, everything. It's like I could happily not make content again because I've made that, just because what it does is it documents the Black British music experience in a way that no one else has ever done it, and it gives a platform to the people that created those scenes to talk about their scenes. But one of the other reasons I've done it is that outside of England, no one don't know about garage.
Yeah. How do you think
they don't know about funky
from Birmingham? Like there's a whole Birmingham grime scene that I come up to London, I'll say certain people's name, then they're looking at me blank. Like, so I understand how important documentaries are because they encapsulate time. Yeah, the violence.
There is a grime. Risky Rose did.
I know. I was
one.
involved in promoting that as well.
That's
because
a good one.
It's like there are epic clashes. Like if I mention KB sending for Mally Man, that would mean nothing to you.
Wow.
But in Birmingham, that was like the biggest thing, the biggest thing that ever happened ever.
No, I understand.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I get that. I think documentaries are very important, but I think the evolution of documentaries is going to start being when they dramatize it instead of
like Netflix
docudramas. Yeah.
Oh my God,
do you
Netflix do that already. They'll have the guy. They're like, and I was 13 running through the field, and they'll have him as 13.
No, I'm talking about like, what do they call it? When they see us.
Yeah, but
I think stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, so
you want a drama.
Yeah.
But they've got like, you know, Target's got grime kids coming like. BBC
I know. I think that will be the way forward, because it's like just making a story. Just I'm telling you guys about what you do, but just the writing and everything is such an arduous process when there's so many stories that are there to tell.
There's so many.
These kids don't know,
There's
but
so
if
many.
they see, like for instance, who on earth knew who Dharma was until you go on Netflix and then you see the documentary? Like when you might hear about the When They See Your story, but when you see it, it almost I'll give you a perfect example. The Crown reignited a whole new generation of anger because of what happened with Princess Diana.
I love The Crown. I loved watching
The Crown, but I'm saying that
still.
The Crown brings you back, and for people, it introduces them to things for the first time. So I think we will see a lot more of that. What's coming up for you guys? I know you got this trapping thing. What's coming up?
And it's not what you think it is either.
Trapping at dead. My Cadet's still breathing.
Yeah.
Always have something for the streets in the back pocket. Yeah, so we've got a film called Trapping. We made that during the pandemic.
So that's made now.
Yeah,
Made.
so it's been made. It's about a kid who decides he wants to go cunch, and it doesn't go to plan.
Good. Does he get killed?
You have to watch the film to find out.
Wow.
This guy went all the
Why?
way there.
You gave him death.
It's showing the dark side of drugs, you know. We're showing like
that's the point that I wanted to make
we're showing
earlier as well.
No, I'm being serious.
When it comes to these films, I'm not tired of or fatigued by them, and I'll tell you why. Films show you the day-to-day. Music glamorizes. Music makes the violence, the drugs, or whatever seem almost fun, glamorous, and like everybody's Teflon.
Do you know what it is? I don't think it glamorizes. I think it normalizes. And it's slightly different.
Either way,
because glamorizing it is like for me, like, you know, I listen to gangster rap, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll listen to like from old school gangster rap all the way to road rap now, right? And I don't want to go and do any of these things. And even as a youth man, I didn't want to do any of these things.
I used to,
but you know what it did though? It makes it normal. Like it makes it so like that within our community, if someone goes to jail, it's normal. Mm-hmm. It makes it so like when you see drug dealing or people taking drugs, it's normal. Mm-hmm. Like it normalizes it. Like rather than like, you know, I don't think people set out to glamorize these things.
Yeah.
I think what they do is they set out to document their story, and it's like, you know, all the freedom of speech stuff. We can get into all of that, but I feel like what it does is normalize things that are not necessarily pleasant.
Yeah, but what I like about the films is that you see the full story. You see the day to day. You're like, oh, he can't go to the shop. Oh, his friend might die. Oh, no. In the intent, in all of them, I look at these man's lives and I wouldn't want that. You know what I mean? When you look at the life, the day to day,
street life's stressful, you know.
Yeah, that's why. But the film show it.
No one talks about that. The street life is
it.
very stressful life.
Oh yeah, 100%. But that's
it's not a joke.
Because your everyday rapper is not letting you know that street life is stressful.
But
Sometimes they do.
Sometimes they do.
Sometimes they do. But the movies, the movies have to.
Yeah, I mean, they might be like, yeah, it was hard, but they're not gonna as if like.
No, I think you're minimizing. Minimizing street rap because the rap. I'll tell you, this is the street rap albums from the 90s. They'll do a girl song. They'll do a Life is a Struggle song.
Mm-hmm.
They'll do like, if you mess with me, I'll shoot you song.
Multiplicity.
They'll do like they do on their albums. They always do.
What you have to understand now is what's coming. Like you could have that back in the day, but like we talk about is social media. So now you might listen to a Tupac song where he was doing all of that, but you don't get to see Tupac rolling around on his Instagram in a Jeep or in a nice G-Wagon where he's supposed drug money got him, if that makes sense. So now you've got the added layer of they are showing their everyday life, and their everyday life looks really fun. They get to go to Paris for Fashion Week. They get to go to they also get to do this. They also have a nice car. So all these things that you're talking about, even though you said it was a struggle, it doesn't look like it was a struggle.
But the perks of them going to Fashion Week is from their rapping.
Yeah,
it's
but
not from their street.
No, but it started from that, and that's why it becomes glamour. It seems like it's normal and it glamorized because it starts from that.
Do you know what it is? I think
is,
what you're saying, everything you're saying,
looks like a way out. So even though it's not okay, you got that from your rap career, but you started your rap career because you was in the trap apparently, and then you wanted to rap about being in the trap, and when you rapped about being in the trap, now you've made it out, and it's interesting because they all just want to have nice lives. Like they all just want to enjoy their life. Look at K-Trap the other day saying, what did he say? Something so simple.
I saw him.
And he was so happy. And he said something so simple. We spoke about that. And I was like, look at him. He just wants to have a nice...
No, because his tweet was like, you realise when you leave the end, you realise that there's so much more to life.
Yeah.
But that's a good tweet though.
No, I know. And that's what I'm not saying it's bad. That's what I'm saying. But when you look at all these guys, you would think that they enjoyed that lifestyle that they were once living. Like you
but
said,
that's all they know at that time, though.
But that's
all you know at that time, innit?
Do you know?
Wait a minute. Wait, that was their life. But there's a difference, in my opinion, between talking about this was really hard. Like I can talk about I had a hard life. Sometimes I didn't have money. I skipped the barriers and I ran over the train, and then this man was chasing after me and make it seem like it's so interesting, so great, so exciting. Even though it's dangerous, they make it sound but you're still making it sound interesting. You're still making it seem like it's nice. There's a nicety to it. There's nothing exciting about it. The shootout that you had, you're probably not going to survive it, but in the films it will always make it seem like you're going to survive it. And that's my whole point. It's like people try to compare it to like 007, but every boy in Hackney knows that he cannot jump from the number 38 to number 56 and probably stay alive.
He does parkour.
Like everyone
he does parkour. It might.
No, this is what I'm saying. It's not the same.
But EastEnders has murders every Christmas though.
Oh yeah, that's what. Yeah, but
no, but
they're burying people in the Vic.
No,
they're burying people in the Vic. Dirty Den got buried in the Vic.
For me, everything you're saying.
True.
Everything you're saying is absolutely valid. Everything you're saying is absolutely valid. But the thing is, what you shouldn't underestimate is the fact that actually these rappers are allowed to document their life experiences in whatever way they want. They can make it sound glamorous. They can make it sound exciting. They can make it sound however they want, because ultimately...
freedom of expression.